Okay, so once again, good morning, everyone. I am your teacher, Karen, and I will be your teacher for science. Okay? All right, so how is everyone? Are you okay?
I am okay.
Okay, very good. So some are okay. How about the others? Okay, so shall we start? Is everyone ready? Okay, so let me share my screen with you. All right, so everyone, our topic for today is the science process skills. So this topic is for science grade 5. Okay, so is everyone ready? Let's start. All right, so everyone, let us read the vocabulary words. Okay, so we have 10 vocabulary words here. So number 1, process. Follow teacher, process.
Process.
Okay, again, process.
Portion.
Okay, so number 2. Number 2, understand.
Understand.
Again, number 2, understand.
Understand.
Okay, very good. Next, number 3, basic.
Basic.
Okay, again, basic.
Basic.
Okay, number 4, tools.
Tools.
Again,
Tools.
Okay, remember there is letter S here. Okay, so you should pronounce the letter S. Tools. Okay, very good. Next, number 5, observing.
Observing.
Again, number 5, observing.
Observing.
Okay, next, number 6, solve. And number 6, solve. Okay, very good. Number 5, problems.
Problems.
Okay, number 8, gather. Again, gather. Very good. Number 9, understand.
Understand.
Okay, again, understand. All right, very good. Next, and the last one is skills. Skills. Very good. So please include the letter S, okay? Skills. Okay. So those are the 10 vocabulary words. So let's start with our topic. Okay. Okay, so this is the page 8 of your book. Okay, so the science process skills. So the science process skills are important. Okay, so why is it important? When we study things step by step, we can correctly find out the answers to our questions. Okay. When we say science process skills, we are going to study things step by step. Okay, so we study things step by step. Okay, so that we can correctly find out the answers to our questions. All right, so these skills show the steps in our thinking, which makes us understand science better and help us learn well. Okay, so again, the science process skills are important because it helps us study things step by step so that we can correctly find out the answers to our questions. Okay, do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay, so once again, we use the science process skills to find out the answers to our questions. Okay, let's move on. All right. So the science process skills are tools that scientists use to search for knowledge, answer questions, and solve problems. Okay, so there are 14 skills that are sorted into 2 groups. Okay, so once again, the science process skills are tools. Okay, so it is a tool that the scientists use to search for knowledge, answer questions, and solve problems. Okay, now there are 14 skills in total, wherein it is sorted into 2 groups. Okay, so the first group, we have the 8 basic science process skills. Okay, so under the 8 basic science process skills, we have the first one is observing. Okay, the second one is measuring. The third one is using space-time relationship. The fourth one is inferring. The fifth one is using numbers. Sixth is predicting. Number 7, organizing data and communicating. And the last one is classifying. Right, so those are the 8 basic science process skills. So let's move on to the second group. Okay, so we are finished with the 8 basic science process skills already. Now let's move on to the 6 integrated science process skills. Okay, so in this group, there are 6. So first one is identifying and controlling variables. The second one is experimenting. Again, the second one is experimenting. The third one is formulating hypotheses. Next, the fourth one is modeling. The fifth one is defining operationally. Okay, again, number 5 is defining operationally. And number 6, we have interpreting data and making conclusions. Again, number 6 is interpreting data and making conclusions. So that is number 6. So these are the 6 integrated science process skills. Okay, now let's further look into it. Right, so first is we have number 1, organizing data and communicating. So how is organizing data and communicating? So in here, when we gather data from experiment, we need to put into simple ways for other people to understand it better. Okay, so you need to organize the data that you gathered from the experiment so that other people can understand it clearly, so they can understand it better. Okay, so this means that we can share the data using diagrams, charts, tables, graphs, equations, or essays. Okay, so after gathering data from experiment, you need to organize, okay, so that you can put it into simple ways so other people can understand it better. Okay, so we have here an example of organizing data and communicating. So Mike searched for information about consumers in a food chain from different sources. He made a record as follows. So here is Mike's record. So there are 3 types of consumers in a food chain. There are herbivores, example, cows, elephants, horses. And we have here carnivores, examples, tigers, lions, and falcons. And the last one is omnivores, examples, dogs, cats, and chickens. Okay, so here is Mike's record. Now, Mike put it into a data, organized the data, and so this is the result. All right, so he put there are 3 types of consumers in a food chain at the center. And then he put 3 arrows. We have 4 herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores. So he divided the 3 types of consumers in a food chain. So let's move on first to the herbivores. So what are under herbivores? We have elephants, cows, and horses. Next, under carnivores, we have lions, tigers, and falcons. All right, how about under omnivores? Okay, can you give me an example of animals under herbivores according to Mike's record? Anyone? Okay, anyone from the class, grade 5? Okay, first we have dogs. What else? All right, anyone from the class who can give me an example of omnivores? We have here chickens and cats. All right, so those are the examples of omnivores according to Mike's data. Okay, so for us, for other people to understand, Mike organized his data for easy understanding. So that's why he came up with this idea. Okay, so this is an example of organizing and communicating. Okay, next, let's move on to the next one. All right, how about number 2? We have modeling. So what do you think is modeling? All right, so this is to create models as way to explain the things that we study. We show and describe our results in different ways, such as pictures, graphs, messages, motion pictures for others to understand it easily. We also use models to describe or explain how ideas, objects, or things are linked. Okay, so let's see an example of modeling. So we have here different types of modeling. Okay, so we have here a model of aquatic ecosystem. So, okay, so here is the model of an aquatic ecosystem. We have here an aquarium. Okay, next we have here a model of a frog's skeleton. Okay, so they preserve a frog's skeleton so that other people can understand it easily and they can study about it. Okay, next, the third one is a model of volcanic eruption. Okay, so we have here students who made a model of a volcanic eruption. All right. The third one, we have a model of a butterfly's life cycle. So in here, we use a picture. Okay. So we use a picture as a model of a butterfly's life cycle. All right. So next, the fifth one, number 5, a model of traveling of sound through a medium. Okay, so in here we use two cans and strings. Okay, so that it represents the traveling sound through a medium. Okay, and the last one, we have a model of plants growth. Okay, yes, Tonhom. Please avoid to use the annotate. Okay, you cannot write here in our screen. Okay, so the last one, we have a model of plants growth. Okay, so from seed until it grows bigger and bigger until it bears fruit. Okay, so we used here a picture also, same as the model of butterfly's life cycle. Okay, so those are examples of different types of modeling. Okay, so once again, for other people to understand, okay, we need to use, we also need to use models. Okay, so in which these are the different types of models that we use. Okay, next. All right, let's move on to number 3. Okay, in here, using space-time relationship. Okay, so what is using space-time relationship? So this is to find out the relationship between one-dimensional or 1D, two-dimensional 2D, and three-dimensional objects. Sorry. Okay, and three-dimensional objects. So it is to find shapes, sizes, positions, and directions of moving objects at different times. Okay, so in here, we are going to use the space-time relationship so that we can find out the shapes, sizes, positions, and directions of moving objects, okay, at different times. All right. So the space of an object is the space that the object fills up and has the same shape as the object. So the space of an object is given in 3 ways. Okay, so we have width, length, and the height. Okay, there are 2 types of space relationship. Okay, let's see the 2 types of space relationship. The first one is we have space-space relationship. Okay, so this relationship between the spaces filled by objects. So a relationship between 2D and 3D object. This is to find or draw 2D and 3D objects. Example. Okay, so we have here a rectangle. Okay, so this rectangle is a 2D drawing, right? Okay, and then we have 2 circles. Okay, we have 2 circles here. Okay, and this is also a 2D drawing. Okay, now if you are going to add up this one, okay, you can make this cylinder. All right, this cylinder is what we call a 3D drawing. Okay, so we're running out of time. Okay, so this cylinder is what we call a 3D drawing. So the first one here, the two circle and the rectangle, they are 2D drawing, right? Okay, but in here, since we form a cylinder, it is already a 3D drawing. And now the result is a cylindrical object. Okay, so we have here a result, which is a cylindrical object. Okay, next is a relationship between the positions of two objects. Okay, so this is to find out the position and direction of an object when compared to other objects. Okay, let's say, for example, Charlie can say that the gym is to the west of the flagpole. Okay, so we have here Charlie. Okay, so this is Charlie standing here. Okay, we have here the compass. So we have north, east, west, and south. Okay, now this is the flagpole, right? Now Charlie can say that the gym is to the west of the flagpole, right? So we use the relationship between the positions of two objects, okay? Okay, you understand? Right, let's move on to the next. Right, so number 2, we have space-time relationship. So this is the relationship between the spaces filled by the objects at a given time. All right, so a relationship between an object's position and time. This is to find the position of a moving object as time goes by. So for example, at 6 a.m., the sun rises in the east. After 6 hours, the sun changes its position and it is now right above Jane's house at 12 noon. Okay, so the sun is moving from the east to the west, right? So that's why. So at 6 a.m., the sun is in the east. Now, after 6 hours, it is already above the house of Jane. Yes. So the sun is already above the house of Jane. So that is already at 12 noon. Okay, so that is how we use the space-time relationship. All right. Okay, let's move on to the next. We have here a relationship between an object's shape and time. So this is to find the changes in the shape or amount of an object as time passes. All right, so let's say, for example, when we leave ice cube at a temperature of 30 minutes, for 30 minutes, the ice will melt and change in size or form. Okay, so we have here a model of an ice. So it's inside the cylinder. All right, so we leave the ice at room temperature. So after 30 minutes, what happened to the ice? Anyone? Okay, so as a result, after 30 minutes, the ice turned into a water. It melts, right? So the ice has changed in size and form. All right. Okay, so that ends the lesson for today. Now we have an activity. So it's located on page 8. Okay, so look at the pictures and fill in the blanks using the science process skill. All right, we have here a boy using a magnifying glass. All right, so Non uses a magnifying glass to study the petals of a rose. Okay, so what do you think Non is doing? Right, so Non is blank the rose. Okay, so fill in the proper science process skills that is being used by none. Okay. Next one. Kang uses a ruler to find the height of an eggplant in his backyard. Okay, so Kang is blank, the eggplant. And the last one is the sky turned dark. So Kelsai thought that it could rain. So Kelsai was blank that it could rain. Okay, what do you think is the proper answer here? Okay, so you are going to find the answer for this activity in here, okay, under the basic science process skills. Okay, all right. Okay, so that ends our lesson for today. So I hope you understand the lesson and you can answer the activity in page 8. Is there any questions, students? Yes, you can raise your hand if you have any question. Anyone? All right. So that would be it for today. Please stay safe, everyone, and have a good day. Goodbye, and see you again next time. Do you have any questions? Grade 5? Grade 5, you can unmute yourself if you want to say something.
No, dear, no.
No? Okay, so that would be it for today. So have a good day, everyone. Please eat your lunch.